what results would you get in collecting this data if the individual was hooked up to a lie detector test? Would they be more honest? Would you get different results? And I think that you would. And here's the thing that came up, which is why this is very interesting right now. So check this out. Let me put this up on the screen. So I'm not going to play this because it's a 4-minute clip, but you can see over here on this chart. So on the right-hand side, this is basically the participants just sitting there answering questions. And on the left-hand side, it's them assuming that they're wired up to a lie detector test. And the questions that they're being asked here, let me see if I can make this larger. Mean number of sexual partners is a function of participant sex and testing condition, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, on the right-hand side, it was 2.6 on the females. And then on the left-hand side, it went up to 4.4. Interestingly, when they thought they were hooked up to a lie detector, the number of past intimate partners doubled. Isn't that funny? Now, he went on for 4 minutes here in this clip to try to dismiss that, saying that it's not significant, blah, 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 sort of thing. You can go watch it. I made a comment over there. Actually, let me see if he responded to my comment.
I doubt it.
So here's my comment over here that I had responded to. So I said, so the reported female notch count doubles when she thinks she's hooked up to a fake lie detector, but that's dismissible because he essentially dismissed the change in the data. I'll bet you a real lie detector test would show reported notches when hooked up are actually false. Women put great effort into reputation management. We saw this firsthand doing the Ladies Night podcast for a year. We had, I don't know, several hundred women on the show during that time. And it's really, really important for women to manage their reputation, especially when it comes to promiscuity. Anyway, so women put great effort into reputation management and hiding, forgetting, dismissing promiscuity. As her notches climb, she forgets some insignificant one-night stands, hookups, lesbian encounters, BJs, et cetera, et cetera. You can still safely double whatever number she reports. Now, he never responded to me. I'm not surprised, but found that very interesting. For the first time, we've seen some data now where they hooked up participants, men and women, to a lie detector. And oh, by the way, the difference between how men and women report is that men's numbers go down when they're hooked up to the lie detector because they overestimate. They're like, oh yeah, I've been with 5. And then they think that they're hooked up to a lie detector, and then that number goes down to like 2, right? Whereas for women, they underestimate, but when they think that they're hooked up to a lie detector, it goes higher. I think the number would be even higher if they were actually hooked up to the lie detector, or the actual device would detect lies even when they gave a higher number, because they're not giving the truth. But what have I been saying for years, guys? I just work here. I just sit here and read all the stuff. I talk about it. We have the gals on Ladies Night. I am not an academic. I don't have a piece of paper on the wall framed in mahogany saying I'm really smart with little letters after my name. Moff and I are not those guys, but we are realists and we pay attention to patterns, and we read a lot of stuff around this. So I thought we should share that with you guys. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, that goatee is atrocious. So just get that off immediately. That's just horrible.
This thing with the ties around it?
That's terrible. So, but I had a brief back and forth with him a couple of months ago where I think somebody tagged me. I was like, yeah, I would make it some tweets and be like, oh, you should talk to Date Psych or this guy Alex. And I was like, yeah, like whatever, man. I don't really listen to what that guy has to say because I think that generally his testing methods and what he does are flawed. And he chimed in. He said, oh, what are flawed about it? I was like, well, because your research and the data you pull is largely based on what women say, and if you know anything about women, you know that they're very, very concerned with reputation and PR, and it behooves them to toe the line, and it doesn't behoove them to be honest about number of sexual partners or anything when it comes to mating and dating that might put them in a particularly negative light. He never responded to that, which I thought that was really telling and interesting. But really what we're boiling it down to, we're talking about stated preferences versus revealed preferences. And it's hilarious when it's just, we have data on the types of men that get swiped on dating apps, or how women set their parameters on dating apps, where it's like 6 foot and up, and then at like 5'11" maybe, and then from 5'11", 5'10", there's a sharp drop off when it's like 5'9", 5'8", 5'7". Like, you're better off lying about your height at that point as a guy, because you're just invisible. You're not even going to be seen. So this idea that it's like, whoa, we don't care about paying attention to behavior and pattern recognitions, we just care what they say, is nonsense. So, this guy has an obsession with this space, and he likes to get, rub shoulders with the manosphere guys and talk about this and that and the other. But I generally think it's kind of hogwash.
He also really likes to go at it with the black pill guys for some reason.
Totally. Incels. He does a lot of incel stuff.
I don't know. It's so bizarre, because it's like they are the academics. They're supposed to be the smart ones, the rational ones, but they miss obvious stuff. And when you point it out to them, they don't really have an answer for it.
Well, it's willful ignorance. If in my opinion, it's,
Yeah.
anybody that, because I think this goes back to why we haven't seen a lot of real research or funded studies about things like, we've got that one study we like to reference about, higher notch counts equals higher likelihood of divorce. But what person in a field that is dominated by left-leaning, liberal, left-wing kind of stuff, who's going to really put their neck out on line and say, like, hey, like, women, you're not all as you cracked up to be, because you guys love to lie about, what you do, and you don't like to hold yourselves accountable. Career be over, be blacklisted, no peer reviews, all that kind of stuff. So, I think you could be very hard pressed to find somebody who's going to perform the study, and B, people that are going to fund it. Anything that's going to put women in a potentially negative light is never going to see the light of day.
I think there's 2 books everybody should read. Why Women Have Sex, which David Buss participated in. He co-authored that. And the other one is The Evolution of Desire. Both very good books. And then on the flip side of things, I think you should read some Manoswamp stuff. These guys are at each other. Like, it's funny because I saw Alex and Rolo going at something once.
All the time.
They're always back and forth. And I just went in the comments. I'm like, you guys should just get a room and bang, because you're always at each other, right? It's like, fuck it, whatever. I don't give a shit. But yeah, it's like the academics hate the manosphere because they make legit observations that I think are realistic. And then the Manoswamp hates the academics because they don't get the acknowledgement because they're not academics like the academics are. And the academics look down on them, sort of thing. So it's like, you two guys go out there and you get the information from where you need. Use your brain. That meatball between your ears, it works. Figure it out, right?
Yeah. Do what works and then keep doing that.
If you listen to me long enough, I'll brainwash you into thinking for yourself. Somebody made a meme like that years ago. It was like a picture of me, and a caption was, if you listen to me long enough, I'll brainwash you into thinking for yourself. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.